In today's most popular game, there's a player who calls himself the Demon Lord. His name is Diablo, and he's a total shut-in, a gamer who never left his room. But one day, he got accidentally transported into the very game he was playing. The moment he arrived, two beautiful girls kissed him on the cheek, and he panicked when he realized he'd become his in-game character. Diablo recognized the tower he was in as a place for summoning beasts. The elf girl and the cat girl were arguing over which one of them had summoned him. Diablo had no idea how to talk to them. He'd literally never spoken to anyone before, but somehow, he could speak in the voice of his Demon Lord character. So, he commanded the two girls to make up and shake hands. They didn't want to, but they were forced to comply, and suddenly, a slave collar meant for summoned beasts appeared on each of their necks. Diablo figured out that they had tried to cast an enslavement spell on him, but he was wearing a ring that reflects all magic, so the spell bounced right back onto them. The busty elf girl's name is Shara, and the little cat girl is Rem. They had come to the tower to summon a beast, but accidentally summoned Diablo instead. The girls took Diablo to a border town called Faltra. As soon as they got to the inn, Shara declared that Diablo would be sharing a room with her. This, of course, started another fight over who he'd room with. The innkeeper got so annoyed that she just threw all of them into the same room. Being Isekai'd and immediately moving in with two cute girls was a bit of a shock for Diablo. Soon after, a woman from the Mages Association named Celestine showed up looking for Rem. Diablo recognized her as the one who created the protective barrier around the city. Back in the game, Diablo had asked Celestine to help the girls remove the slave collars, but even she was stumped, having never seen a case like this before. A mage with Celestine, a guy named Galak, got pissed off at Diablo's attitude. The problem was, Diablo couldn't speak without using his Demon Lord voice, so he just leaned into it, went full-on jerk mode, and called Galak an insect. Celestine explained she was just there to check on Rem. After she left, Diablo realized Rem was hiding something. There was no way someone as important as Celestine would visit her otherwise. Diablo carried Rem straight into their room to demand answers. When she wouldn't talk, he touched her ears, sending her into ecstasy. It turns out, a demon lord named Krebscomb is sealed inside Rem's body. Celestine is trying to find a way to get the demon lord out without killing her. Diablo promised he would find a way to help Rem expel Krebscomb. Hearing this, Rem was so moved she burst into tears. Everyone else had always abandoned her the moment they found out about the demon lord sealed inside her. Later, while Diablo was sitting outside, he ran into that Galak guy, who was drunk and still furious about Diablo's arrogant attitude. He summoned a level 30 fire dragon and ordered it to attack, but for a level 150 player, like Diablo, this dragon was nothing more than a pathetic little lizard. He easily blew it away with a single magic spell. Then, Diablo announced to Galak that he was a demon lord from another world. The next day, Shara and Rem took Diablo on a tour around the city. He noticed that besides humans, this world was home to many different races. Rem revealed that she was a level 40 summoner, while Shara hadn't even had her level measured yet. They all went to the Adventurers Guild in Faltra to register. Diablo had to give a blood seal, but accidentally cut himself a little too deep. Everyone's level was checked by touching a crystal mirror. Shara was disappointed to find out she was only level 30. When it was Diablo's turn, the mirror suddenly unleashed an insane amount of power. The guild master, Sylvie, sensed the energy and appeared instantly. Sylvie tried to find a quest suitable for their level, and gave them a mission to eliminate a great serpent in the forest outside the city. Diablo and the girls quickly set off on their quest. He asked them why they weren't just using a teleportation spell to get there faster. The girls just laughed, thinking that kind of overpowered magic couldn't possibly exist. After 5 grueling hours of walking, they finally reached the forest. Before they could even spot the serpent, Shara sensed that they were being watched. Elves have much better perception than other races. After Shara pointed out the enemy's positions, Diablo used a fire spell to sweep through them. The girls were stunned. They had never seen anyone use elemental magic that powerful. All the figures hiding in the trees were soldiers from the Elf Kingdom. Diablo and Rem were shocked to learn that Shara was their princess. These elves were sent to bring Shara back on the orders of the Elven Prince. But she knew her brother only wanted her back so he could have children with her, so she was determined never to return home. Seeing Shera's resolve, Diablo declared that he wouldn't let anyone take her. The elven soldiers fired their arrows at him, but they couldn't even leave a scratch. The elven captain pulled out a special arrow called the Divine Wind and shot it at Diablo. Diablo thought this one might actually do a little damage, but nope, even after taking a direct hit, he was completely unharmed. Immediately after, Diablo used a wide area magic spell to freeze the entire forest. His terrifying power completely shattered the soldiers' will to fight. It turns out Galak was the one who instigated the elven prince to ambush Diablo's party. When Diablo threatened him, he scrambled to get away, running for his life out of the forest. That night, while they were alone, Shera hugged Diablo to thank him. Unfortunately, Rem happened to walk in on their little moment. This time, the party got a quest to deliver wine to the city guards. Rem didn't want to go, so Diablo went with Shera. Just as they were leaving the guild hall, a young man named Emil blocked their path. He introduced himself as an ally to all women in the world. Emil thought Diablo was forcing Shera and Rem to be his slaves, so he challenged Diablo to a duel to the death to free them. Diablo was actually pretty excited about the challenge. Emil powered up and charged at Diablo with a powerful slash, but Diablo blocked it with ease. Emil powered up again for his next attack, but Diablo ended the fight with a single basic attack. Fighting this guy was a total waste of time. Still, Emil was determined to defeat Diablo and save the girls. So, they had to explain that the slave collars were the result of their own spell backfiring. After understanding the situation, he cheerfully backed down and let Diablo go. Diablo and Shera headed out of the city to deliver the wine to the soldiers. Along the way, Shera decided she wanted to take a dip in the river to cool off and playfully clung to Diablo, which he found hard to resist. When they arrived at the delivery point, the soldiers surrounded Diablo, thinking he was a fallen. Luckily, one soldier recognized him as someone sent by the Adventurers Guild. Diablo noticed a lot of civilians running across the bridge the soldiers were guarding. They told him an army of 100 fallen was about to attack the bridge. However, the city of Faltra was protected by Celestine's barrier, so even if the fallen crossed the bridge, they couldn't get inside. Facing such a large army of fallen meant certain death for these soldiers, so Diablo decided he would help them defeat the army. Shortly after, a spear-wielding girl named Edelgard led the fallen army to the bridge. Diablo told everyone to head back into the city, saying he would fight them alone. Meanwhile, Celestine informed Rem that Galak had been kicked out of the Mages Association for endangering her. But as they were talking, Galak burst into the inn, yelling that it was unfair for Celestine to kick him out. Galak then pulled out a strange dagger and stabbed himself with it. The dagger transformed his body, replacing him completely with a fallen named Gregor. Back at the bridge, Diablo was getting tired after taking out over 30 fallen. Realizing Diablo was a strong opponent, Edelgard decided to fight him herself. Gregor had tricked Galak to get inside Faltra, and his target was Celestine. He needed to kill her to destroy the city's protective barrier. Rem had to quickly get Celestine away from him. However, they ran into a dead end, and Gregor caught up. Rem summoned a 3-horned goat and ordered it to attack, but he defeated it easily with a single punch. Just then, Emil appeared to protect the two girls, and other adventurers in the city also arrived to fight Gregor. Emil powered up and used a close combat attack, but it barely scratched the fallen. Gregor then unleashed a barrage of magic bullets at Emil, severely injuring him. Diablo and Edelgard were still fighting. With everyone watching, Diablo estimated her power to be around level 80. Knowing she couldn't easily defeat him, Edelgard decided to use her ultimate attack, unleashing a series of devastating blows. But surprisingly, her attack only gave Diablo a slight headache. Suddenly, everyone panicked when they received news that Celestine was being attacked by the fallen Gregor. Diablo decided to end the fight with one extremely powerful move. He used his magic to create a massive explosion that engulfed the entire area. His attack destroyed the bridge and wiped out the entire fallen army. Somehow, Edelgard managed to survive the blast. Diablo immediately used a teleportation spell to return to the city. By this time, Emil and the other adventurers had been completely defeated by Gregor, but luckily, Diablo teleported back just in time to save them. Diablo informed Gregor that the entire fallen army had been wiped out by him. Gregor tried to attack Diablo but was hit with reflected damage. Diablo fired a barrage of magic bullets at Gregor, leaving him no room to breathe, and then used gravity magic to crush his body. After getting a taste of Diablo's overwhelming power, Gregor begged for his life. But Diablo had no intention of forgiving him for killing so many innocent people. He used a spell to trap Gregor in the dark dimension forever. Finally, the fierce battle with the fallen army was over. Rem burst into tears and thanked Diablo for showing up in time to save her. But Diablo just said she belonged to him, so saving her was only natural. The city held a funeral for the adventurers who died fighting Gregor, but they had to overcome their grief and begin rebuilding. After using so much power, Diablo was bedridden for 10 whole days, but he had barely recovered when he received news that the Elf Kingdom had declared war on Faltra. Sylvie explained that Shera's brother wanted her back at any cost, so the city's lord wanted Diablo to hand her over to prevent the war. However, Diablo refused to let Shera be taken by her scumbag brother. So, Sylvie took them to meet the city's lord to sort things out. Sylvie also mentioned that the lord, like Diablo, had once single-handedly wiped out an entire army of fallen. Soon after, they were granted an audience with the Lord of Faltra, a man named Galford. Diablo had to try his best just to speak to him normally. Galford informed them that the Elven army was currently stationed outside the city and demanded that Diablo resolve the situation peacefully, without bloodshed. But for a guy who couldn't communicate properly, negotiation was pretty much impossible. However, to help resolve the situation, the capital had sent a royal knight named Alicia. Upon meeting, she quickly became friendly with everyone. Diablo could tell she was much better at talking to people than he was. Diablo said he needed to buy some weapons to prepare for the conflict with the elves. He went to a weapon shop and bought himself a massive scythe. Just as they left the shop, someone threw a smoke bomb at them. Shera was snatched away by 2 rabbit men who appeared out of nowhere. Everyone realized they were bounty hunters hired by her brother. The rabbit's comrades quickly appeared to block their path, but Diablo and the remaining girls easily took care of them. Immediately after, Diablo chased after the 2 rabbits carrying Shera at full speed and caught up to them in an instant. But then Emil suddenly appeared, defeated the 2 rabbits, and rescued Shera. Emil claimed he could smell a woman in distress, and that he would teach these bounty hunters some manners. Diablo promised he wouldn't let Shera get captured ever again, so Shera asked to hold his hand so he could protect her better. Alicia apologized to Diablo for failing to protect Shera, but Diablo said a demon lord like him never needed help in the first place, so he didn't blame her for the mistake. As they were talking, Alicia's stomach rumbled with hunger, so she quickly took them back to the inn for a meal. When they got back, Celestine told them a slave trader had just arrived in the city. She thought the owner of the trading party might know how to remove the slave collars for Rem and Shera. They quickly went to the slave market that had been set up in the city. Diablo was worried he would see slaves being mistreated, but it seemed the owner of this group treated her slaves quite well. The owner was a beautiful middle-aged woman named Medios. Upon meeting Diablo, she immediately sensed his incredible power, as she could see the flow of magic within people. Medios also saw the magical power of the demon lord Krebscombe inside Rem, but Shera misunderstood and thought Rem was pregnant by Diablo from their first night at the inn. Rem asked to be excused, not wanting Medios to find out her secret. Knowing something was on Rem's mind, Alicia went out to comfort her. Meanwhile, Medios was teaching Diablo how to remove Shera's collar, but the method was a bit heart-stopping for him. To remove the slave collar, Diablo had to feel Shera's magic flow. But in the end, Diablo had to give up because he just couldn't do it. Rem and Shera wondered where Alicia would sleep that night. Hearing this, Diablo worried he might have to handle all 3 of them, but luckily, Alicia had rented the room next door. While they were talking, they suddenly heard a flute playing outside the door. The person playing was Shera's brother, Kira. Diablo quickly stepped forward to threaten Kira, knowing he was there to take Shera. But surprisingly, Kira spoke to everyone very politely and even claimed he had no intention of starting a war with the human kingdom. However, no one believed a word he said. They demanded he let Shera choose her own path freely. Kira agreed to let Shara decide for herself whether to return home and said he would come back the next day for her answer. That night, seeing Shara lost in thought, Rem went to talk to her. Shara said that no matter what, she didn't want to go back home. She had always dreamed of opening a cafe with her friends. Diablo and Rem were the first friends she made after running away from home. So, for her, home was wherever they were. The next morning, Diablo woke up to find himself being squeezed to death between Rem and Shara. Rem and Alicia went out to report the situation to Lord Galford. While at home with Shara, Diablo took out a bunch of tools to make healing potions. Shara kept giggling in front of him, making it impossible for him to concentrate. But surprisingly, he was able to brew potions at an incredibly fast speed while distracted. Kira's flute music played once again, causing Shara's eyes to become lifeless. She suddenly said she wanted to return to the Elf Kingdom with her brother. Diablo was completely stunned to hear those words come from Shara's own mouth. Kira had a carriage waiting outside to take her away with him. Faced with this situation, Diablo had no idea what to do. After telling Rem and Alicia what happened, Diablo sadly went to his room to sleep. He couldn't understand why Shara would make such a sudden decision, especially since she had been so adamant about not going back the night before. However, Rem suggested that Shara might have been hypnotized by Kira. Diablo realized the hypnosis must have come from the sound of his flute. So, Diablo decided he would go rescue Shara from her cunning brother. Meanwhile, Kira had taken Shara back to the elven camp and tied her hands up. He revealed that he had used the elves' magical flute to hypnotize her. Then, Kira released a slime that could dissolve fabric and let it crawl on Shara. His intention was to force himself on her right then and there, but luckily, Diablo and the other two girls arrived just in time to save her. Kira was horrified to see that all his soldiers had been defeated by Diablo. Diablo wanted to hear Shara's true decision one more time, so Kira tried to use his hypnosis again to make her obey him. However, Diablo commanded Shara not to be hypnotized. The slave collar glowed and completely freed her from the spell. Kira was furious that his plan had been foiled by Diablo. He used a magical item to summon a giant hydra and ordered the monster to attack them. This was the monster that had guarded the royal throne for generations. Diablo used an earth-based spell to blow off one of the monster's heads, but it regenerated almost instantly. The hydra then blasted Diablo with a wind attack because he couldn't reflect elemental magic. Diablo had never seen a summoned beast use two different skills before, but the monster continued to launch various elemental attacks at him. The hydra went on a rampage, much to Kira's delight. Shara told Diablo that the hydra's weak point was a core inside its body, but the core was constantly moving, making it hard to destroy. However, Diablo didn't care about the weak point. He launched a massive lightning attack at the hydra, completely vaporizing its body and turning it to dust. After dealing with the hydra, Diablo decided to take care of Kira as well, but Shara stopped him, saying that he was still her brother. However, as Kira was trying to escape the forest, someone killed him. It turned out to be Galford and his soldiers, who had been invisible and watching them the whole time. Galford wanted to use this opportunity to invade the Elf Kingdom. He had been waiting for Diablo to defeat their hydra. Galford trapped Diablo inside a magical cage used for confining beasts. When Alicia tried to fight, Galford broke her sword with incredible speed. Diablo realized that Galford had surpassed the level of a normal human. Diablo tried to sense the magic flow of the cage holding him. After finding the cage's magic source, he easily destroyed it. Diablo declared that he would stop Galford from invading the Elf Kingdom. Galford then charged at Diablo with terrifying speed. Diablo set a trap at Galford's feet to stop his attack, and then placed a series of traps at his own feet to prevent him from attacking again. Diablo used an ice spell to trap Galford, but he easily broke out of the ice and charged at Diablo again. So, Diablo had to unleash an extremely powerful close combat spell to send him flying. Galford was severely injured after taking that hit, but Diablo spared his life, considering him too weak to be worth killing. So, Galford ordered all his soldiers to retreat from the forest. After everything was over, Rem asked Diablo for some healing potions for the injured elves. And even though she hated Kira, Shara was still deeply saddened to see him killed right in front of her. Due to using so much magic, Diablo had to rest for several weeks. Sylvie brought over a bottle of foreign liquor that could restore magic power to drink with him. Diablo had no idea what his alcohol tolerance was since he'd never had a drink before, but after just one gulp, he was completely wasted and had no idea what was going on. Unable to control himself, he pounced on Sylvie and started making moves on her. Back in the capital, Alicia met a paladin named Sadler. He was a fanatic who hunted down those who worshipped demon lords. Sadler said he would soon be heading to Faltra because the church had detected signs of a demon lord's revival nearby. After some guidance from Rim, Shara managed to summon a fat bird. This bird could link its vision with its master. Shara thought the bird's ability was pretty useless, but she still wanted to form a contract with it since it was her first familiar. Diablo suddenly threw a coin deep into the forest and told Shara to have the bird find it. Shara was amazed that she could see what the bird saw. After the bird found the coin, Diablo told her to try shooting it. Thanks to the bird's vision, she easily hit it from a great distance. Shortly after, Shara noticed Rem was starting to smell from not bathing, so she suggested they all go for a swim in the river for fun. But Diablo was too embarrassed and went to hide in a corner. However, while they were swimming, Edelgard suddenly appeared to see Rem. Edelgard had sensed the demon lord Krebscombe sealed inside her. After learning this, Shara hugged Rem, feeling that she was carrying too heavy a burden. Edelgard said she would teach them the ritual to expel Krebscombe from Rem's body, and that the ritual would not harm her in any way. Not wanting to miss this opportunity, they accepted Edelgard's help. Diablo wanted to be the one to personally destroy the demon lord after it was revived. Upon returning to the city for a meal, Alicia immediately found the group and warned them that Sadler was now in town. Sadler was a fanatic who would not spare anyone associated with a demon lord. And Diablo was always calling himself a demon lord from another world. So, Alicia wanted him to hide at the inn for a while. However, on their way back, they accidentally ran into Sadler and his men, and as expected, Diablo blurted out, "I am a demon lord from another world." So, Sadler decided to cleanse all of them for being associated with a demon lord. Sadler's eyes suddenly lit up, making Rem feel like she couldn't breathe. He claimed it was divine punishment for those who follow a heretical path. But Diablo realized there was no divine punishment, it was Sadler using magic to choke her. Sadler then tried to use his eyes to attack Diablo, but his magic was reflected back at him, instantly turning him to stone. According to Diablo, it would take more than a day for his body to return to normal. That evening, Rem said she wanted to reveal her secret to Alicia as well. After learning the truth, Alicia decided to join them to help out, but Diablo felt that this heartwarming moment seemed a bit fake. That night, they all went to the summoning tower to meet Edelgard. Rem was mentally prepared for the ritual to expel the demon lord from her body. Diablo would have to channel his power into Rem's body to pull the demon lord out, but Edelgard felt Diablo's method would take too long. She said that to pull the demon lord out faster, they should use the hole on her body. Although it was a bit embarrassing, Rem agreed to let Diablo do it Edelgard's way, and after some effort, Diablo quickly pulled the demon lord out of Rem's body. Everyone was shocked to witness the revival of the demon lord Krebscombe, but the massive demon lord suddenly transformed into a tiny lowly girl. Diablo boldly declared that he would defeat the demon lord Krebscombe. So, she unleashed all her power to intimidate him. However, Clem suddenly couldn't remember how to fight anymore. She didn't even know what a demon lord was supposed to do. Realizing that Clem might have lost her memory after being sealed inside Rem for so long, they took the opportunity to convince her to turn over a new leaf. And after their talk, she decided not to destroy the world anymore. Seeing that Clem seemed hungry, Shara gave her a cookie. This was the first time she had ever eaten something so delicious. So, she changed her goal in life, to eat all the cookies in the world. They took Clem from the summoning tower and headed back to the city, but they hadn't gone far when a fallen suddenly flew down in front of them. He was the most powerful mage of the fallen, sent here to welcome the demon lord. However, when he learned that Krebscombe had turned good, he considered her a defective demon lord. So, he decided to eliminate her and summon another one. But Edelgard stopped him, as she was loyal only to Krebscombe. Due to the huge difference in power, Edelgard was easily defeated by the fallen mage. Diablo used a spell to attack him and save her. The fallen mage moved at incredible speed to get close to Diablo and attack him, but his magic was reflected back by Diablo's ring. The fallen recognized the ring's reflection magic as belonging to the previous demon lord, and that Diablo was the one who defeated that demon lord back when this world was still a game. Knowing he couldn't defeat Diablo, the fallen retreated immediately. They took Clem into the city and let her eat as many cookies as she wanted. Meanwhile, Sadler was plotting his revenge against their group. The next day, the girls were happily singing together and taking Clem out for cookies. But seeing this, Alicia seemed very upset. Diablo told Celestine everything about Krebsholm's revival. Seeing that the little girl only liked to drink tea and eat cookies, Celestine wasn't too worried. On the way back to the inn, Diablo suddenly couldn't find Clem and Rem anywhere. It was because Alicia had pulled them into an alley with her. Alicia was not happy with a demon lord who didn't cause destruction like Clem. All this time, she had only been pretending to be friends with Diablo's group. Her main goal was to release the demon lord to slaughter all of humanity. As they were talking, Sadler suddenly appeared behind them, so Alicia quickly framed Rem as a demon lord worshipper for him to capture. Rem had no choice but to summon a familiar to fight him, but he had his guards hold the familiar down and brutally killed it. Rem charged at Sadler but was immediately subdued. Meanwhile, Diablo was frantically searching all over for Rem and Clem. The two of them were taken away by Sadler in a carriage. With her power, Clem could have easily destroyed Sadler's men, but Rem didn't want Clem's hands to be stained with blood. She just wanted her to be happy eating cookies. Sadler took them to a church on the outskirts of the city. Alicia provoked Rem, hoping she would ask for Clem's help, but Rem was determined not to let Clem kill anyone. Alicia left them with Sadler and disappeared. At this time, Diablo had run to the guild to ask for help in finding his friends. However, since he always spoke in his arrogant demon lord voice, he didn't know how to ask for help now. Luckily, a young boy had seen Rem being taken away by Sadler and the paladins earlier that afternoon. After learning this, Diablo immediately ran to save her. Sadler was now brutally torturing Rem in front of Clem, but Rem was still determined not to ask for her help. Seeing Clem just standing there yelling at him like a brat, Sadler went to slash her. When he realized she was a fallen and not a child, he was terrified. Sadler slashed at Clem again, but Rem jumped in front to block the blow. Seeing Rem get hurt like that, Clem went berserk and quickly transformed into her true form. Seeing Clem in her demon lord form, a terrified Sadler used his magic eye, but Clem destroyed it and then vaporized him, turning him to dust. The people in the city panicked when they saw the surge of Clem's power. Diablo gave Shara some healing potions to save Rem while he fought Clem. Upon hearing that the demon lord had awakened, Edelgard and the fallen mage led a large army to the gates of Faltra, and Alicia stood with them to destroy humanity. Lord Galford led all the soldiers to the city walls, ready to fight the fallen. Meanwhile, Celestine was reinforcing the city's magical defense barrier. Diablo and Clem were having a fierce battle inside Faltra, but all of Clem's magic attacks were reflected by Diablo. Shara reached Rem and quickly gave her the healing potions. After drinking a bunch of potions, Rem finally regained consciousness. Knowing that magic was useless against Diablo, Clem started throwing chunks of earth and rock at him. That useless hero Emil also ran over to support Diablo. While running through the church grounds, Diablo set up a magic circle right under Clem's feet. He summoned a grand spell with all the natural elements to crush Clem, but even after such a powerful attack, Clem could still move. Just then, Rem and Shara appeared right in front of Clem. When she saw that Rem was still alive, Clem regained her composure and reverted from her demon lord form. The fallen mage was once again furious at the failure. Edelgard and Alicia watched in dismay. Sylvie discovered that Clem was a demon lord with infinite power, so she couldn't let Clem roam freely in the city. However, Diablo proposed that Clem become his slave under his control. Clem really wanted to stay in the city to eat cookies with everyone, so she agreed to become Diablo's slave through a kiss. That night, as everyone was getting ready to rest, Shara was suddenly captured by Alicia. Due to their failure to revive the demon lord, the fallen mage was hunting her and Edelgard down. Although they managed to escape, Edelgard was severely injured, so Alicia wanted to ask Clem to use her magic to heal her. At her plea, Diablo agreed to let Clem treat Edelgard. Alicia explained that she had witnessed too many terrible things happen in this kingdom, which led her to think of allying with the Fallen to destroy humanity. Alicia wanted to atone for her sins with her own death, but Diablo stopped her and used his talk no jutsu to make her understand that it's not over until it's over. Finally, the people of Faltra could return to their peaceful lives, and Diablo would continue his adventure with his two beautiful companions. Thanks for watching this recap video of how not to summon a demon lord. I'll put some other videos from the channel here, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when the channel releases a new video.